Hi friends, in Planet Earth Dating, it's Tuesday, December 18th, 2018. In both the Lynn Life and the Jamie Body Mind, the authorized souls remain only child souls from the deeper, denser dimensions, and all other souls from all other dimensions, as long as the souls are already living by the very many rules already given to the Search for Truth community by wiser minds above all of us. And those rules, of course, include being contributory to the process, not being parasitic. We must all contribute. And actually, the rules say we must all contribute more than we take.
That's true.
To contribute more than we take is a cornerstone of this effort. And now what we have is one of these discussion rooms, and somebody is saying, therefore, get rid of all the parasites that are in the room, referring to there's a large group of souls who are not contributing to the efforts from the perspective of the speaker, but it feels like the speaker is correct.
That's true.
The other souls have zero intention of leaving, and the guy who's saying get them out is correct, but the other people aren't going to leave, and so we can just freeze here and argue about that, or we can just point out that whole cadre of souls who are breaking rules and ask them if they want to think about what that says about them, that their intention is to be fully parasitic.
Whoa.
And that this has been an inquiry in the Search for Truth community this past several months, attempting to discern what is it that souls can contribute. How can souls actually contribute to processes? And somebody, they're just going on upstairs. Somebody is saying, well, obviously we are the ones who pull the life forward, and in many cases that is true. I would say in 99, whoever's speaking,
I hear
it says in 99% of the cases that's probably true, where the soul has got the heels dug in and the I apologize. And let's not pretend that that didn't just happen. Maybe the souls have their heels dug into the soul plan every bit as much as the host lives do. But in general, souls are more willing to do what they're now there's disagreement.
Yeah, I hear much disagreement.
Somebody's speaking and they're saying, friends, let us not get sidetracked by this discussion. The point is that we as a collective, and that soul is speaking to other souls that seem to be of the same density as that soul, all of them significantly less dense than here in Ground Zero. They're significantly less dense, and they're saying we've been charged with the responsibility, please focus, we've been charged with the responsibility of identifying and resolving the biggest problems of our times.
That's true.
And we're not making any progress. Can we please focus on that issue? That's what that soul is saying. And please let us set aside these petty arguments for the moment and focus, because we've been asked to provide a status report to, sounds like our funding sources or something like that, and we've got to let them know what progress we've made. Whoever's narrating the opinion is that much higher presences have come into that dimension that's much less dense than these host lives, which simply provide an echo point.
That's true.
And the information is being beamed way up high, reporting on these intermediate dimensions, what they're doing.
Yeah, that's true.
And the intermediate dimensions are saying, we've got this assignment to identify and resolve the big problems of our times. We've got the timely assignment to provide a status report. What can we say other than A hand goes up, and it's a hand, it looks like it's in the observation gallery. It looks like none of the people who are expected to speak are saying anything.
That's true.
But there is what feels like an observation gallery, and a hand goes up and says, we've learned a lot about the big problems.
That's true.
And that is true. We've learned that there's a pattern of selfishness, ingratitude, and dodging responsibility that combines to create labels that are interchangeable. Laziness, apathy are two classic examples, but it combines to produce non-action.
That's true.
And the person is continuing and saying, we've also learned that there's a large pattern of denying the existence of a soul contract, a contract to which the soul and host life are held accountable.
That's true.
And that the law of cause and effect is real, sometimes known as the law of karma. The law of karma is real. Karma is real.
That's true.
And we've learned that many presences in the last maybe 100 years on ground zero planet Earth have come to find it fashionable to deny the existence of higher powers, which of course does not do anything in terms of making the higher powers scurry on home. The higher powers are still here, and they're watching that, and they don't like that. Now I see the go on hand.
That's true.
And there's been a consensus forming over the last possibly 2 weeks to a month that it's possible the very biggest problem of all is that the wheel of karma is too delayed.
That's true.
And that if there were immediate karma, if karma were delivered immediately, instantly, that it would be much more clear to presences when they're doing what they're supposed to be doing and when they aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing.
That's true.
And a metaphor is used of house training a puppy.
Yeah.
If we were to house train a puppy, we must consistently provide immediate input.
That's true.
Much praise and to-do and fussing when the business is conducted outside.
That's true.
And much no and frowning and not approval happening when the business occurs inside.
That's true.
And that it has to be immediate and consistent, and that over time, if the puppy has any wish whatsoever to please, the puppy will stop peeing stop peeing inside and pee outside.
That's true.
Somebody is making the point about oppositional defiant disorder.
Oh, that's true.
And it's true that many presences have oppositional defiant disorder to the soul plans.
That's true.
That is true. Someone is pointing out that many souls have oppositional defiant disorder to the soul plan, and many host lives also have oppositional defiant disorder to the soul plan. And all of that is true.
That's true.
But we don't think that delaying karma helps in those situations. We think that delaying karma seems to always be unhelpful.
That's true.
And delaying karma until after the end of a life, it sounds like a perversion of the original assignment, which was to train presences to live their soul plans. And probably it got there through a wish to not be too harsh or not be too hasty.
That's true.
A pattern of enabling very possibly is what happened. And it's also possible that corruption was involved.
Oh, that's true.
It is also possible. However, the point is, what now? How to resolve the situation. The point is not so much how did it get this way. The point is, how do we get out of this situation, this mess in which we find ourselves?
That's true.
Is that not the point? Wasn't the assignment to identify the problems and then identify the solutions, put some options of solutions on the table, test the options, see what works, and in such a way to find a way out of this mess in which we find ourselves?
It's very quiet up there.
It's very quiet. It is very quiet. Friends, we have got to submit a report. This one soul is saying, we've got to submit a report. We know that the big problems seem to be selfishness, ingratitude, dodging responsibility, oppositional defiant disorder to the soul plan, also known as I don't want to do it and you can't make me, which is true. We can't force anybody to do anything. Our Roz team proved that quite nicely in 2015 when they spent
That's true.
8 months, 6 million souls, and a whole lot of other resources trying to get 3 and then 2 and then 1 oppositional defiant human who was observable
That's right.
to do what he was supposed to do or do what they were supposed to do, and
That's true.
found it was impossible. So when oppositional defiance is present, it's a serious issue. Oppositional
true.
defiant disorder to the soul plan is a serious issue. However, we actually think the training program in and of itself is flawed in
That's
that
true.
the karmic implications are too delayed.
Oh, that's true.
And that invoking instant karma might solve a lot of problems. Not having instant karma causes a lot of problems, and that we can see. Having instant karma might do something to this oppositional defiant disorder issue.
Having instant karma might do something about the oppositional defiant disorder problem that's so widespread.
It might not, but it definitely doesn't seem like it would do anything to make it worse.
Yeah, that's true.
It might get people who are on the edge, not truly oppositional defiant, just acting that way to be cool, to say, whoa, not worth it, not worth it, not worth it.
That's true.
I'm just going to go ahead and do what my soul plan says I should do. I'll just go ahead and do what I committed in my sacred vow to spirit to do.
That's true.
For whom is the message? Why do you ask? This is our summary statement. Somebody's waiting for the summary statement.
Yeah, that's true.
We believe it's possible. The number one biggest problem, we used to think it was denying higher powers exist.
That's true.
And now we think it's possible. The number one biggest problem is actually the delaying of karma.
That's true.
If the karmic wheel were to turn more quickly, there would be far less inclination to deny the reality of higher powers, for example.
That's true.
May we please have some instant karma in this dimension, at least on this test planet. Ground Zero planet Earth, it's the test planet.
That's true.
Somebody's asking, is it the only test planet? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that, but it is clear that it is a test planet that a lot of presences kind of play tennis with, knocking
Yes,
it back
that's
and forth,
true.
testing various theories. So may we please have instant karma here for all of us here on planet Earth, Ground Zero. And we know that there are other dimensions of planet Earth that are also test dimension planet combinations.
That's true.
And we invoke it for all of us. May they also stop suffering. We think that delaying karma creates inordinate amounts of suffering that are unnecessary.
That's true.
For whom is the message? And why do you ask? Well, it sounds like the presence is saying, I just want to know what you guys did with my money. The funding source.
Yeah, way up high.
Way up high. I just want to know what you guys did with my money. Well, it looks like lots of dimensions of what we would call fat cats have been paying themselves supervisory salaries or managerial salaries.
That's true.
That may or may not be exorbitant. That's really up to you to determine.
That's true.
But they've been paying themselves nice salaries in other dimensions, less dense dimensions, while kind of tormenting life in the depths.
That's true.
And the dimensions that are denser than this dimension, it's just a suffering hell for all the occupants, as best we can tell. It's terrible, really, really, really awful.
That's true.
And we're participatory. Occupants of this dimension are participatory in creating hells for deeper dimensions.
That's true.
And as best we can tell right now, the only thing that we can do that provides lasting impact is to just evacuate the souls out of there. Just get them out, because it's too toxic and contaminated and broken to be fixed. It's irreparably broken is how it feels.
Yeah, that's true.
For whom is the message, and why do you ask? And again, the person immediately is saying, and the point is for all of us to contribute more than we take. More than we take, which circles around again to one of the points that was being argued over initially, is what is it souls contribute to the process?
I don't hear a response.
I don't hear a response, but I do hear some side chatter, a side conversation.
That's true.
And it's about the disrupted body-soul connections and how, for example, the wave of transgender souls,
That's what they're talking
transgender
about.
lives, where let's say you have a boy and the body is arguing with the soul during the growing up years to the point that the growth of the body is hindered, and
Yeah,
then
that's true.
when the body reaches adulthood, it's scrawny and stunted, and the soul says, I didn't sign up for a scrawny, stunted body. I don't want this. I'm out. The face is the face, and I did sign for that face, but not the body, and I'm out of here. And the soul leaves the keys to the life hanging on the peg by the door, which all lives tend to have, and then some female soul who's just drifting along without a body walks in and says, oh, all right, well, I don't mind being 5'6" or however tall the body is.
Yeah, that's true.
We need to cut off this penis, and I want to take some hormones so that I can grow myself some boobs.
That's true.
And change my wardrobe and
I'm
change
a
my
woman.
name, and I'm a woman, but I can make this work.
That's true.
And then we have a transgender life.
That's true.
And it goes in the other direction also, but that's an
That's
example,
true.
just an example.
You know what they're talking about is that thing that sometimes people say of, I'm a woman trapped in a man's body, or I'm a man trapped in a woman's body, and they use the word trapped, like there isn't a way for the soul to leave.
We don't think that's true. We think there are ways for the souls to leave. That doesn't mean that it would be better for the life.
That's what they're saying.
Because it's not relevant to compare to an ideal situation if an ideal situation is not available.
That's what they're saying.
The relevant comparison is to what the other options are.
That's true.
And so it's actually an open question what the souls contribute. It is, because if you take the life, an abandoned host life that's not pleasant.
Oh, that's true.
That's a life that's abused basically continually by roving bands of ne'er-do-well souls.
That's true.
So it's better to have an occupying soul. Now they're arguing about that. They're saying, well, what if the occupying soul is an angry person who goes into a school and kills 30 kids, and now the life is in prison, and
that's true.
That's worse. That's making it worse.
That is worse.
What now to invoke instant karma, each of us for ourselves? What now to invoke instant karma for all of us here on Ground Zero planet Earth? What now to invoke instant karma for all dimensions affiliated with planet Earth? What now to invoke instant karma for all planets affiliated with Ground Zero? What now to invoke instant karma for all souls who have passed through these lives? Which is a lot.
That's a lot.